welcome back to Tournament Center. Rich and BDM with you, and in this show we are going to go into the world of Worldwake. No time to waste. Let us go straight to white and our first card of the day, and it is Stoneforge Mystic. Now, the important bit, forget the 1-2, you really don't care. What you care about is this. Search your library for an equipment card. BDM, what do we go get?
Well, we can certainly go get a Behemoth Sledge, which seems like a perfect card. We watched, I saw this card played in Extended in Oakland, and I saw someone Court of Calling at the end of turn for a Sword of Fire and Ice.
Ooh.
One of our PTQ winners, John Lux. He end of turn got a Stoneforge Mystic, and as a result went and searched his library for Sword of Fire and Ice, untapped, played it, bashed. Behemoth Sledge is pretty nice. I don't know if that's going to see play. I'd like to find something a little more perfect, but I'm not sure what that is yet, so let's move on.
We'll come back. Let's move on to a blue card. There he is, the signature, Jace the Mind Sculptor. The only Planeswalker with 4 options. Just a whole ton of things you can do with that. I guess my first question is there a home for this? Where is that home?
Well, I don't think there was a home that existed in Standard before this card. It seems to open up a lot of options. People feel that this card is just the card needed to beat Jund. Whether or not that's true, we're going to have to see. That'll have to be fought out in the feature match arena, but it is definitely a card that the control players are wanting. The ability to return target creature or its owner's hand, it's like a Venser that you get to use multiple times. It buys you so much time. You can use it on your own guys. Free Brainstorm, just unbelievable. Searching for answers, digging. I have fetch lands, I have other things to shuffle up. It's just so perfectly positioned for a control deck.
One more question on this. -12. Are we ever going to see that?
We're absolutely going to see that. I mean, do you really not believe that in the 5th extra turn of round 4 that Guillaume Wafatapa is going to activate this? Or, you know, it is absolutely going to happen. We're definitely going to see that this weekend, and we're definitely going to talk about it when it does happen.
All right, let's go into black. Let's look at a fantastically fun card, Abyssal Persecutor. Terrific design. My question about this, aren't pros a little bit wary of a card like this? Is it too risky for pros to run?
Well, you have to be able to deal with it. You have to be able to get rid of it. So, you know, I've seen people playing it in Vampires where they have Fleshbag Marauders and Gatekeepers of Malakir. People have played Bone Splinters to get rid of it. I mean, the thing is, you have to be reliably able to get rid of this thing. And, you know, that's a little tricky. That's going to be difficult for players to do. So you'd really like to, you know, find some kind of, you know, consistent plan for the card.
All right. Now our next card, I can reveal, comes direct from Mr. Brian David Marshall's iPhone. It's good to be connected in more ways than one. So BDM, let's have a look at this card. Here it comes. It's red. Bizarre Trader.
Yeah, in our pregame meetings, we actually did not have Bizarre Trader on our list of Worldwake cards that would be featured in this tournament. It was not on our radar. I mean, certainly it's a very exciting card. Certainly it works with Abyssal Persecutor, and you can, you know, give an Abyssal Persecutor to your opponent. I can't lose the game anymore. Oh, you can still lose the game. Very exciting, but not something we thought people were going to play tournaments. There was a 70-person tournament that was just played. The results just came in. It is a Bizarre Trader deck. It runs Bizarre Trader. It runs Abyssal Persecutor. It runs Immortal Coil.
Oh, hello.
Here, have an Immortal Coil. Now I will bolt you. There's not enough cards in your graveyard. You're dead.
Wow.
It also runs 8 copies of, you know, Ray of Command effects. Mark of Mutiny. Active Treason.
All right.
And so target player gains control of target artifact, creature, or land you control.
Can that be me?
No, it's going to be me.
Oh.
I am going to steal your creature with Mark of Mutiny. I'm going to target it. I'm going to activate Bizarre Trader. I'm going to say, I get control of creature I control. So I steal your creature, and then I keep it. It's a very interesting deck. It has a lot of synergies.
Oh, dear.
I have to wonder if we're going to see that here this weekend. I really hope so. It is super exciting.
Yeah. From a complicated red card to a simple red card, here comes Searing Blaze. It's a burn spell. How good is it?
Well, how good was Lash Out in Standard, right? I mean, and it took a while for Lash Out to find its way into Constructed. It was a limited staple. This, you always win the Clash, right? As long as you've played a land, you always win the Clash. 3 to him, 3 to you. We know the card's absurd and limited, but We also know it's pretty absurd and extended. Petter played this card. People were really surprised looking at it in his Broja Boros deck in Oakland this past weekend. The card's fantastic. It is exactly the card a very aggressive red-white, red-green, red deck wants to have. You're attacking with your guys, you clear the path, you do 3 extra damage to your opponent. It's perfect. And this is going to be a card we see a lot of.
Next up is a card that 3 damage does not kill. 9/9 Terastodon. But never mind the 9/9, never mind the 3 guys. I want you to look up here. 6 green, green. That counts to 8. Are we really in a standard environment where players can hang around getting to 8 mana BDM?
Well, certainly. I mean, if you look at Conley Woods' Magical Christmas Land deck from Worlds, he was able to get to 7 mana for Violent Ultimatum on turn 4. So you can certainly get there with Lotus Cobra, Knight of the Reliquary, Noble Hierarch, Harrow, County Heart Expedition.
Arbor Elf.
Yeah,
That's
right,
Paradise.
Right. There's a whole suite of elves. Harabaz Druid. If there's some sort of ally mana engine that's out there. I think this is a card we're going to see. This is another card that saw play last week in Oakland. Tomohiro Saito played it in his Hypergenesis deck that he made the top 8 with. The card was fantastic. You can give yourself, you're like, oh, I've used up all this energy to ramp up to 8 mana. Well, now I'll trade 3 of those cards for 9 extra points of power. Or say your opponent has a Jace, and their plan is to bounce your creatures. Well, they can have a 3/3, kill their Jace. You get 2 3/3s and a 9/9. Yeah. So this is definitely a card to watch out for this weekend.
I think we have an answer for Stoneforge Mystic. Here it comes on the right-hand side of your screen. Basilisk Collar. That is a dog I do not want to own.
I think a lot of people are going to be running this dog this weekend, and possibly with Stoneforge Mystic, to tutor it up. There's a lot of talk about control decks. People have been talking about Wall of Denial, Calcite Snapper, talking about Sphinx of Dwar Isle. With Basilisk Collar, all your creatures, from the lowliest Noble Hierarch, to the mightiest Terastodon, becomes a Vampire Nighthawk.
They're gone.
Right? They get lifelink. They get Death Touch. It's this. I don't know if you've ever played against this card in Limited. It's utterly unfair. It's bad enough when you have to deal with one Nighthawk. When you have to deal with an unending string of Nighthawks, this is going to be a card we see a lot of in Standard.
Let's move on to another artifact, and this is the Ever-Flowing Chalice, or as you call it,
Mother Loving Cup.
Mother Loving Cup. I think we can work with that one. This is pretty exciting because of the acceleration.
Sure. We haven't had a Signet, a 2-mana artifact that makes 1 mana in Standard for quite some time. And, yes, there's ramp. We have, the green decks have elves and rampant growth and whatever, but, blue decks haven't had this. White decks haven't had this. Turn 3 Wrath, turn 3 Jace. You can also multi-kick it and, play your Sphinx of Dwar Isle and have mana up on turn 5 to be able to defend it.
Let's get to some lands. A whole set of them coming up, the Man lands. All created equal, or is Stirring Wildwood the number one?
Well, this goes right in the decks with Knight of the Reliquary. Yep. It's going to be a ubiquitous card this weekend. I think this will be a ubiquitous land, even if it's just a one-of. Much like Tomohiro Saito used Treetop Village in his Night Zoo deck when he won Kobe. So, but all of them are good. I don't know if everyone realizes this, but these are dual lands.
That kill you.
Yeah, they come with a win condition. Yeah. They're really good.
Finally, let's have a look at the other set of lands. And I guess my question here is, are these basically constructed lands, or are they really just nice limited tricks? Sajiri Step, Core Skyfisher, that kind of thing.
Sajiri Step is going to be the one we see the most of. Again, this turns your Knight of the Reliquary, which apparently does everything these days. Knight of the Reliquary becomes Mother of Runes. At instant speed, someone tries to terminate your Baneslayer Angel, you Knight of the Reliquary, away a forest, you get a Sajiri Step, and suddenly your Baneslayer Angel has protection from that color for that turn. Bajuka Bog, similarly, is a card you may see one of. I don't know about these. Halmar Depth, certainly I want to play it with Jace. Whether or not those decks can afford more come into play tap lands,
you want to play everything with Jace.
Sure.
All right, so that is our first look at the cards in Worldwake, in Standard, in Limited. we are out of here. Rich, BDM, see you very, very soon.